Welcome to the Van Journal, road trip number 2. We are here in North Carolina, and we are stopping at multiple wineries, vineyards, breweries, farms, all across North Carolina, experiencing what this beautiful state has to offer. So we are starting our journey here at Windsor Run Cellars, a beautiful Harvest Host location. So let's go in for a wine tasting, and we will see what our favorite wine from Windsor Run happens to be.
There's a, size difference in the two of them. This is the regular Midnight Run. This is the Reserve. Okay. This one was hand bottled, they hand numbered each one of them. Okay. There's a lot more care and love gone into this one.
You go on the Price is Right with that.
Yeah.
Wow. Glitter and wine.
This right here, this copper helmet that you see right here, represents one distillation. Okay, and that means we get about anywhere from 120 to 140 proof out of here, depending upon what we start with. And then with a few movements of some levers, we can also use this in relation with this right here. This is called a column still. Okay. And long story short, which my stories rarely are, each of these sight glasses represents one distillation. Okay. So we can get anywhere from 170 to 180 proof out of this, that are again depending upon what we have inside here. Wow. Gin basket, which means we can put fruits, botanicals, things like that in there and allow the alcohol vapor to infuse through whatever we have inside here through the spirit. And you'll be able to taste that today with our rum punch. Believe it or not, they say that one of the characteristics from this particular grape is a white tequila taste or a silver agave taste. Yeah. Okay. So I put a splash of a margarita product that we make called Shadow Rita, just to give it a little bit of a dimension and see what you think. Right. So try that out. I like to think of that as a gateway drug back into tequila for those of us who have had bad tequila stories and have sworn it off. If you're thinking about getting back into tequila, this is not a bad way to get back into it. Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, that's smoothing it out quite a bit.
A little bit, a little different. Yeah. So our next product, make this out of honey, and we get it all the way from South America. We import it from South America. Okay. No killer bees up this far. Mm-hmm. That is a honey spirit. We make a mead, and then we distill the mead. Okay. So see what you think. I do want to put a little bit of a splash of ginger beer in there.
Might be too late.
We've come up with an idea where we take regular ginger beer. Okay. Mm-hmm. See if that doesn't do a little something. Some say that it brings out that honey flavor a little better.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and they say that the killer bees actually make some of the best honey in the world. Mm. But the bees themselves are extremely aggressive.
And they can kill you. Okay.
And some say there are stories of bees falling in 2 or 3 mines. Wow. And you know how many people in the United States have died from killer bee attacks?
How many?
100,000.
Really? You don't hear about it?
So I'd hate to think of the amount of people that have lost their lives just to bring you that same. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding, friend. I'm only kidding.
I think my wife would like one of these, so...
You want to try one of those?
I think
I'll
get one for her.
Thinking about the little one, aren't you a great man?
Isn't it? The second winery that I've decided to visit is here at Sanders Ridge Vineyard and Winery, and it is in a little town called Boonville, North Carolina. Sanders Ridge has approximately 15 acres of vineyards here, where they grow all sorts of different grapes, different varieties. And the farm has been in the family for 5 generations, over I think 180 years. And now they have a beautiful wooden, very rustic building that they use for their winery. And you can have weddings here, and it's a good place for people to gather and have a few glasses of wine together. They also serve food at Sanders Ridge. They have a nice menu of lunch items. And Sanders Ridge is obviously also part of the Harvest Host RVing program. So I choose 4 wines that I'm going to sample in my wine tasting to decide which wine I'm going to purchase at today's stop.
Let's get over a brain freeze.
So from today's wine tasting, I decided to go with this wine. It is called Sweet Kate, and it is made from the Chambourcin grape. I believe it's pronounced Chambourcin. You can see I've already enjoyed it a little bit today. And it's named after the owner's 98-year-old grandmother, Kate. So how can you go wrong with Sweet Kate here at the Sanders Ridge Winery in Boonville, North Carolina. That's our first sampling of Sonker. Not bad, not bad at all. This is Cherry Sonker from the Rockford General Store in Rockford, North Carolina. So we'll see how the other Sonker producers compare. So far, I would say the General Store set the bar pretty high. Good morning from historic Elkin, North Carolina. It's been a wonderful day here exploring the downtown area, which has a lot of history behind it. Spent the night at the Yadkin Valley Visitor Center, which is a Harvest Host location allowing you to stay overnight. The visitor center had very friendly people and very friendly wildlife as well. We spent some time on the bike, traveling over some of the wonderful bike trails that they have here, and that was enjoyable, next to the Yadkin River. And last night we spent a few hours at the Angry Troll Brewery and Restaurant. Are you telling me I should go to Angry Troll Brewery 4 o'clock? Is that when it opens up? Alright, I will take your advice. Here in the downtown area. Spent about an hour talking to a gentleman at the bar. Finally got around to asking him what he did for a living, and he told me that he owned the bar that we were sitting in, so that was a fun experience. A lot of good beer at the Angry Troll, and now we're off to our next destination. Welcome to Thistle Meadow. Welcome to Thistle Meadow Winery here in Laurel Springs, North Carolina. I arrived here in the Blue Ridge Mountains, about 3,000 foot elevation. As a Harvest Host member, I'm allowed to park right next to this little brook, so I'll be hearing the running water during the night. So I'm going to be going in for a wine tasting in a moment to see if I can find my favorite wine here at Thistle Meadow Winery in Laurel Springs, North Carolina. Good, I'm gonna get a bottle of stomp bread, horse stomp bread.
Oh, you didn't even taste it yet.
Yeah.
I gave it to you.
Oh, which is this one? What is this
I didn't
one?
give it to you yet.
Oh, I just had. Oh,
Who knew, right?
Bullhead.
So here's your horse. I'm not gonna give you more chocolate.
So this one is the bullhead red.
Yeah, that one is your horse stock. Yeah, the bullhead was the last one.
This is where
Are you a coffee man?
Yeah,
That right there.
Topia red.
But do the horse stock definitely first because this is going to be much sweeter.
I got you some tape.
Evelyn says, how can we squeeze the bacon out? It's my favorite shirt. Place it back in that segment.
I think you're right. I'm gonna put that down to the t-shirt.
Okay, so I had a very enjoyable wine tasting in my wine of choice from Thistle Meadow Winery. Was this Topia Red, and it is a port-style wine, has a slight coffee taste, and for me it was the most enjoyable wine. And I also bought a bottle of Bullhead Red, and this is a Malbec with grapes that are imported from South America, so it was also nice. So I got this Bullhead Red as well as my Topia Red. My two choices from Thistle Meadow Winery here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. So today we're making a side stop in a little town called Mount Airy, North Carolina, very close to the Virginia border. And this particular town is known as Mayberry because it is the birthplace of Andy Griffith from the Andy Griffith Show. So we're going to take a look around this town, see what we can find.
Well, you know, they did a survey about 4 or 5 years ago at a college. I can't remember what college it was, but they went around a lot of little towns. They did a survey. Either we were first or second friendliest town.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, Mayberry, how could you expect anything different?
exactly. And you know what? You know, I'm from Massachusetts. My favorite capital is Boston. That's where we get the Boston flag all the time. So ain't a whole lot's changed up there.
That's
that
true.
kind of situation.
Yeah.
But we did Zonkers. That's a Zonker.
Zonker is different than Sonker?
well, no, what it is, it's spelled with an S. We spell with a Z.
Oh, I see.
You
Okay.
know, blackberry here,
Okay.
strawberry rhubarb, and then over here we got the peach.
Okay.
That's the peach over here.
All right. So what would you say is the difference between Sonker and cobbler?
It's just the dough.
The dough. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the website I was looking at, that this is one of the best ones you can get right here.
Yes, and like I said, the blackberries have been, they just came off the orchard to see what they missed. So this was done yesterday, this pie here.
Okay. All right, I think you've talked me into the blackberry Zonker.
I think, I mean, and like I say, you don't see no Tim's and Chairs. She owns next door too.
Okay.
And that's the ice cream shop. That's where Tim's and Chairs are. You're more than welcome to go over there and sit down and eat.
Okay.
They're all fine.
I might do that. Yeah.
We'll get you set up.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy.
Decided to go with blackberry today. Blackberry Sonker from Miss Angels in Mount Airy, North Carolina. And those fresh blackberries are delicious. So number one so far, blackberry Sonker from Mount Airy, North Carolina. This is where Andy Griffith grew up, right here in Mount Airy, also known as Mayberry. Apparently it is always Christmas in Mayberry. This store has an entire section all with Christmas ornaments and decorations. Only in Mayberry. Alright, it is time to add yet another sticker to our van of the cool places that we have visited. And this is in Mayberry, USA. Enjoyed a few hours here in... Where am I? Mount Airy. Mount Airy, North Carolina. So I'm going to add this sticker right here.
Hey, that's the thing about retirement. You do whatever you want to do. But what do you do for work? I mean,
I was an engineer, electrical engineer. Yeah, I worked for them for about 20 years, and I said, that's enough. Now I'm going to go drink wine.
hey, you sound like a plan, I'll tell you. And when, you wouldn't have to twist my arm, I'll tell you, but
Drink wine and eat Zonker.
eat Zonker.
Hello and welcome to Grassy Creek, North Carolina. We are right on the border between North Carolina and Virginia. Grassy Creek is a small little town, about 500 residents. The Greer family founded this little town in the early 1800s, 5 generations of growers farmed cattle here. And then when the cattle industry went away in the mid-1900s, Christmas tree farming became what kept Grassy Creek alive. What a beautiful, beautiful little town this is. We're staying at a place called the Old Store. And just recently, they have restored that store back into what it used to be in the 1800s. And it is a Harvest Host location, so they are allowing me to stay here overnight. In fact, they told me to come up the little hill here, get a better view of this beautiful landscape, and enjoy the evening. I am just over halfway through this hike at Grayson Highlands State Park in Virginia. Whew. I can't freaking breathe. And I'm on the Listening Rock Trail. It's only a 1.5 mile trail, but I'm not used to these elevations. Getting to the halfway point was no problem. It was downhill, but now we gotta go uphill to get back to the van. Grayson Highlands State Park. Here's one reason I love the van, because I can park in places like this that I probably wouldn't be able to with a bigger RV. Another sticker opportunity. Grayson Highlands State Park in Virginia. Gonna do our go-to salad here. This morning I find myself waking up in the little town of West Jefferson, North Carolina, and I stayed at a little brewery last night called the New River Brewery, and I thank them for letting me stay here in this quiet little parking lot. Nice little place, great beer, friendly people. Caught a little cold over the last couple days, but no big problem. And I'm going to go check out the little town of West Jefferson, North Carolina. It appears to be one of those wonderful little mountain towns that you don't want to miss when you're out here. Really looking forward to today's stop, which is going to be at a little farm about 20 miles down the road, family owned. That will be the first farm that I've stayed at on this trip, and I always enjoy staying at those. So let's get on down the road.
We also have a couple places that we get.
Uh-oh. I noticed there's a lot of alpaca. We are heading out of the land of milk and honey farms, and what a wonderful stay that was. Great people, and you can tell that they are very proud of what they have accomplished here. They have full-time jobs, 3 kids, a farm, and they are willing to do harvest hosts and host people like me. It was a lot of fun. Got about 1 hour to go to get to Hickory, North Carolina.
Walk out the door and you can stay here.
In 2011, film crews come out here and they start principal photography for the first Hunger Games. So again, welcome to District 12. Now, while they were out here, initially they only filmed for 5 days, but they did a whole month of pre-prep on the village before they ever rolled cameras. And if you've seen the movies, I'm sure some of the landmarks may stick out to you. Like our general store here became the bakery in the movie. Actually, that's where the pastries and cakes comes from. That's from the movie. That wasn't written on there originally. This room over here was made completely wholesale for the filming of the Hunger Games. What is it? The very beginning of the first movie, whenever Katniss was trying to comfort her sister before the reaping. All of that shot in there. And a fun little fact, the bed and the side table with the little lantern on it are the only things from the production of the movie that they did not take back with them after they left. They took everything else back except for those things. I guess they figured it looked nice here. Now, historically speaking, take this house, split it in two, and then share it with another family. And that gives you a better idea of how the houses were actually set up back in the day. I know they did a bulk of the filming behind these houses on this side of the road. You know, lots of Jennifer Lawrence running through the woods, hunting. There's actually a little path back off that way with more houses.
Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up road trip number 2 here to North Carolina. I had a great time. I caught a little cold. That's why I'm cutting the trip just a couple of days short. Pretty much went to all the places I wanted to go to. Just crossed back into the Florida line and I pulled into the Florida Welcome Center in order to wait for some nasty weather that's in the Jacksonville area to pass through. With a van, there's no reason to push through that kind of weather. We just wait it out. Hopefully with this video you can see how I enjoy traveling with the van. Once I got to the area that I was going to explore, I really didn't travel that much every day, maybe an hour at most per day. So if you enjoyed this road trip, I hope you will join me on the next one. Hope to see you soon.